public comment. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. You saw the email we got from Dr. Tibbetts suggesting that we postpone it so we can charge. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to call this meeting to order. Would you please stand for a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance? Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That sounded good, young man.
Yes, it did.
Good job.
Good job. All right. Are there any changes or to the amendments to additions or deletions to the agenda? I'll spit it all out in a minute. Oh, here we are. We're legal now.
I wanted to pull 10.02.
I'm sorry,
Pull 10.02.
10.02?
Wow, did I?
All righty. Anything else? All right. At this time, we'll move to the approval of the minutes, Superintendent.
Recommend approval of the minutes from the special school board meeting organization of the board, November 20th, 2018.
All
So
right.
moved.
Second.
We're just moving right along here. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same side. Thank you. This time we're at our part of the program for representation, and I tell you, we have a couple things tonight that really deserve the recognition that is fixing to be given to them. So at this time, Superintendent?
Well, I am very pleased this evening to do our first representation. We talk a lot about school safety, and we encourage students, when you see something, say something. We have our Speak Out hotline that we're promoting, and we had evidence of that recently. And I'm proud to say that our students are doing exactly what we're asking them to do, which is to speak up, and whether that's face-to-face telling someone or through our Speak Out hotline. And not only are they speaking up about things that they see in our schools, but also in our communities. And we have an example of that in 11-year-old Isabella Miller, a 6th grade student from Windy Hill Middle School. Isabella has been credited with helping to apprehend a man suspected of stealing packages off of porches in her neighborhood. She saw what was happening. She took a picture of the man's license plate and told her father. They then informed law enforcement, and the suspect was arrested and charged with grand theft. So Isabella is here tonight with her family, and her principal, William Roberts, is also here, and their assistant principal is also here. And I'm going to ask them, if they would, to come and meet me at the podium. I'd like to recognize her publicly and thank her. So Isabella, if you'll join me with your family and your principal.
So that explains why the young man, he's learning to speak out, and that's why he was saying the pledge so well. That's great.
We also have tonight a representative from the Sheriff's Department who I think also would like to join us. So I'll invite them. From the school board. Thank you for your bravery. Thank you for speaking out and being a model for all of our students. Congratulations to your family.
Could I ask you if you could, because they want to be able to hear what you're going to say, if you could move to the mic and then,
Can make this rough on me, don't
yeah, we should have got a handheld mic for this.
Real quick, my name is Glenn Hall. I'm the Sheriff's Major over the Criminal Justice Operations Division, which entails all the school resource deputies. So this is actually awesome when we get to come and recognize a kid, because Lord knows they quickly tell us when they do wrong. Sheriff Cornell got double booked tonight, so he couldn't be here, so you are stuck with me. However, what Isabel did on the evening when she got off the bus, if you've ever heard Sheriff Cornell speak, or anybody at the sheriff's office, we consistently say, if you see something, say something. If we don't know, we can't help you. We can't do anything about it. She did that. It's a big deal and it takes a lot of courage. So for that, the Lake County Sheriff's Office and Sheriff Grinnell would like to issue her a Gold Star Award presented to Isabella S. Miller in recognition of your outstanding service benefiting our community.
Isabella, if you will, would you come up here so that we as the board could shake your hand and thank you? Thank you very much.
And while Isabella is making her walk and being thanked by our board, I'm going to ask our school safety or district safety specialist, Mr. Jim Arroyo, to come up with another presentation this evening.
I'll take this side. So in light of the recent news, we've had a lot of excitement here the past week. And Isabella, once again, I'd like to thank you for reaching out and taking that courage. But on the date of December 3rd, we had an incident that took place at Eustis High School, and I'm going to read this letter. Dated December 10, 2018, Lake County School Board would like to take a special opportunity to recognize and thank Eustis High School Principal Tracy Clark and Lake County Master Deputy Adam Tytler for their exemplary acts taken on December 3rd of 2018. This day would have ended up with a different story if these two men would have not reacted the way they did. Principal Clark had been dealing with what was originally a physical altercation between two students. Clark had made the request for Master Deputy Tytler to come assist with a secondary altercation in the front office area, and thankful for his quick instincts and further assistance of what was about to happen. A 20-year-old involved in a secondary altercation who was not a student at the school left the front office to retrieve a gun from a car parked out front with the intent to return and shoot. Master Deputy put himself at an extreme personal risk to avert a potential disaster at Eustis High School. Responding to a fight on a school campus 99.99% of the time and or greater does not involve a gun. With great intuition and a gut reaction, Master Deputy Tytler followed the arrested and stopped her in her tracks while trying to make her way back to the school with a loaded gun and intent. The quick thinking of Master Deputy Tytler kept a shooter off our campus and, most importantly, our students and staff safe. Principal Clark, Master Deputy Tytler, your conduct was merely warranted, but considered exemplary acts. The Lake County School Safety and Security Services Award is presented to Principal Clark, Master Deputy Adam Tytler for their exceptional actions above and beyond the call in service to our students and our schools. There are three Latin words that signify the recognition of these two men. Cure, to care for or provide for physical and emotional well-being of another. Ad servio, the verb form of serve, the act of devoting yourself to the service of others. And praesidai, to guard, to help, and protect others, even at personal risk or cost. Principal Clark, Master Deputy, would the two of you please come forward? On behalf of Lake County School, I'd like to present a certificate and also our challenge coin to the man.
We can go down. Have them come up.
I would ask if you two would please come up here and allow us to.
Thank you.
Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Very well done.
Thank you very much.
Just want to say also, as we're getting ready for our third presentation for this evening, our district spotlight, that our officer there, he really doesn't like this kind of attention. And I was worried. I kept looking. He wasn't here. I said, he's not here yet. And then I looked again, and I'm like, oh, I see him. He's hiding back here behind somebody. But the thing is, sometimes we only recognize sometimes our officers whenever they die. But whenever they put their life out there, we sometimes don't realize what they do and what they're doing for our students and for our others around in the welfare. But I appreciate what Tracy did and what Officer Tytler did, put their life on the line for our students in Lake County Schools. And I think anytime this happens, just like the young girl doing what she did, we need to give recognition and do to them what we can to let them know we appreciate this. And the students need to understand what happened and what could have happened. They stopped it, and we appreciate that very much. Thank you. But we didn't ask if y'all wanted to say anything. I know he's wanting to walk out. All right. At this time, we have our district spotlight. Ms. Owens.
Lake County School District is a place where our students are always learning and growing into the leaders of tomorrow. All across the district, our schools are getting into the holiday spirit. It's the most wonderful time of the year, a time to showcase our students' artistic talents while also bringing the community together and helping those in need. This year, many of our schools participated in the inaugural Festival of Trees at Lake Square Mall. Students decorated 49 trees that have been on display since Thanksgiving weekend. Mall guests were invited to enjoy music from school choirs and other performers while they took in the beauty of the trees and bid on those they'd like to take home. Winners of these trees were announced on December 9th. All proceeds from the project will go to the Educational Foundation of Lake County to support our art and music programs.
To have the chorus come out and sing for the community, that people get a better understanding of the great secret that we have, which is a lot of talent and potential in our public schools here in Lake County.
The impact this will have on our students at Fruitland Park Elementary School is they have the opportunity to express and to share their talents and their gifts that are inborn inside of them. We have the opportunity every day to help them to develop their purpose, and a part of that is them coming out today and singing for our community.
Tavares Middle School's Little Red Jazz Band will help usher in the sounds of the season on WKMG. They and other Lake County school bands recently recorded a musical segment that will broadcast throughout Christmas Day. Listen to the holiday tunes from these talented students while you open up gifts and spend special time with friends and family. Mount Dora Middle recently collected more than 3,000 items for their food drive. They filled 48 boxes with all the fixings for a Thanksgiving meal, and now they are planning to do the same to help local families in need at Christmas. Sawgrass Bay Elementary's Kindness Kids are collecting new toys that will be distributed to local families who are struggling during this season. And last but not least, Windy Hill Middle School recently celebrated Holiday on the Hill, a Wolfpack Winter Festival that featured live performances, pictures with Santa, arts and crafts, fun and games for the whole family.
Holiday in the Hill is an opportunity for all of the clubs and organizations on campus to come together, do something for the holidays in the spirit of our one-pack mentality, invite students and parents on to the Hill to see all of the great things that the clubs, organizations are doing. It also gives an opportunity to our band, choir, and theater to showcase some of their performances as we get prepared for our winter season concerts. When this event is over, and the community has had an opportunity to come in and see what is going on here at Windy Hill. I hope that they see that this is a school that is partnering with the community and looking for ways to invite them in to see the great things that we're doing, because we are really, really looking for ways that we can impact our community here at Windy Hill.
They will raise money for Wolfie's Winter Wonderland, an experience that allows students an opportunity to shop free of charge to provide a gift for someone in their family. Also, the school's Fine Arts Department will provide food and gifts for the families of 3 students facing exceptional circumstances this holiday season. On behalf of the students, faculty, support staff, and the entire Lake County Schools family, we wish everyone a very happy holiday season. Lake County Schools is the destination district for providing students with individual opportunities to excel. Stay tuned for the next district spotlight, where we will continue shining a light on what makes Lake great.
Excellent.
Great job again, Sherry. All right, now we move on to our public input, and we have one card this evening, but I think it's in reference to discussion item, so we will, and it's in support.
I think the
My time
clock
is up.
officially died.
Okay, I'm
Let me get my
gone.
phone.
All right. We'll move on then to reports, the Educational Foundation report. Ms. Audra?
Good evening, Chairman Gamble, board members, and Superintendent Cornegay. My name is Audra Dick, and I am the Community Outreach Liaison at the Foundation, and I am filling in for Carmen Cullen tonight. As Sherry Owens already shared with you, our Festival of Trees went really well. It ended on December 9th, and all 47 schools were represented, and so many talents and art, really great things showcased. Our Apple Mart program has seen a significant attendance at our stores where teachers shop for free. We welcomed 365 teachers since August, and we've distributed over $27,000 worth of free school supplies. Jenkins Auto Group is hosting their 5th annual holiday toy drive for LCS homeless students. You can stop by any of the 4 Jenkins Auto Group locations in Leesburg to drop off a new unwrapped toy for an elementary, middle, or high school student. Toys will be collected until December 15th. Our 47 Teacher of the Year nominee packets have been distributed and are being judged as we speak. The event to honor all nominees and the Lake County Teacher of the Year will be held on Saturday, February 16th, 2019 at 5 p.m. at Lake Receptions. The Lake County Teacher of the Year will receive a 3-year auto lease courtesy of Jenkins Hyundai. Our Rookie Teacher of the Year nominations are also being prepared. The celebration will be held on March 13th, 2019 at 6:30 p.m. at Lake Sumter State College, and we are still accepting sponsorships for both events. The ACT Reading Prep program is designed to support students who are at risk of not graduating high school due to low performance in the reading section of the required Florida standardized test. We've been awarded 3 grants for our ACT Prep initiative in the county. We thank SunTrust for their $5,000 contribution, the Jack Arlene Foundation at $3,000, and the Macklin Foundation at $2,000. We've recently submitted 5 AT&T grants for a maximum of $2,000 per grant. Recipients will be notified on December 21st if they've been awarded. We've received 21 Duke mini grants requests totaling $51,000, and our visioning committee has submitted them to our board for review. The board will review them on Wednesday, and recipients will be notified this Thursday, December 13th, if they've been awarded. And finally, to wrap up the year, we are hosting the LCS District Christmas Party Luncheon on December 20th at 11:30 a.m. It will be held at Life Point Church, and we will be collecting non-perishable food items and canvas tote bags to donate to the LCS Food Pantry and the Title I Department for our students. Are there any questions on my report? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Johnson?
I don't have anything, Mr. Chairman.
All right. We have no unfinished business, then Superintendent, on the consent agenda?
I recommend approval of consent agenda items 8.01 to 10.01 and 10.03.
You've heard the superintendent.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, we have 10.02 pulled. Dr. Burns?
Yes, I pulled 10.02 because I didn't know about the ACT contractor services, and I needed to learn a little more about it, and the superintendent has kindly arranged for somebody to speak on it.
I have. So coming up is Linnea Weissman, and she is the grant manager overseeing our Destination Lake grant, which is that was awarded to our Construction Academy at Leesburg High School, and she's going to tell you about our agreement with ACT.
Good evening. The Academy of Construction Technologies, or ACT's mission, is to inspire, educate, train, and prepare students for construction careers. They sponsor internship programs in Orange, Osceola, Seminole, and hopefully Lake County. Students participate in summer internship programs by working for local contractors. They work for 2 months during the summer, and they earn $11 an hour. Plus, they earn a high school course credit. During their pre-apprenticeship, they glean firsthand knowledge and experience working in a construction trade of their choosing. ACT was founded in 1992, and it is a nonprofit organization. The $5,000 school partnership fee allows an unlimited number of Lake County students to be placed in internships with sponsoring businesses. ACT vets the businesses for safety and appropriateness, and they work with the businesses to handle employing high school students and how to use them appropriately. To participate, students must be at least 16 years old, they must have completed 1 year of construction class, and they must be on track to graduate. Students attend a job fair in April where they interview with sponsoring businesses and find the best fit for all involved. We currently have 15 Leesburg businesses pledging to sponsor us with ACT. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. I'm super excited about this program, that the children will actually be able to get real paid internships during the summer with construction companies in our local community. I just think it's such an exciting collaboration. I'm so glad that we're doing this.
Very good. All right, superintendent.
All right, so I'm recommending approval of our agreement with the Academy of Construction Technologies, item 10.02.
You've heard the superintendent.
So moved. Second?
Who second?
I seconded.
All right. You got that, Natalie? All right. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same side. Thank you. Moving now to the discussion part of 11.01, report from the Claremont Middle School SAC with the results from the public hearing held on the renaming of the school, and Principal Rob McHugh is coming forward here from Claremont Middle School.
Good evening, Superintendent Cornegay, school board members. It's an honor to be bringing this forward to you. First, I'd like to thank the ladies of the Delta Sigma Theta Leesburg Alumni Chapter who brought the first request for this to happen to our SAC. And without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our SAC Chair, Ms. Kimberly Pineda, who will share with you what has been brought forth to our SAC.
Thank you. Good evening. On September 18th, 2018, Claremont Middle School School Advisory Council was visited by the Leesburg Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta, Inc., wherein the group shared a resolution to rename Claremont Middle School to the Aurelia M. Cole Academy. Copy of the resolution will be included. In addition to this group, a former colleague of Ms. Cole's, Ms. Tony Bell Resco, also came forth with letters of support for the same purpose from the following: the Kiwanis Club of Claremont, South Lake Historical Society, Epsilon Sigma Alpha Beta Theta Chapter, Cooper Memorial Library Association, Epsilon Sigma Alpha Sigma Phi chapter, and a promise from the City of Claremont Council to provide a resolution of the same purpose, also included in this packet. Following the board policy 8.54, naming of school facilities, a public hearing was set for November 8th, 2018, and duly advertised. The public hearing concerning the renaming of the school was held on November 8th. There were approximately 60 people who attended the meeting. 16 individuals spoke in support of the name change, with one being a current Claremont Middle School 8th grader. 60 opinion cards were turned in. The breakdown of the votes and the public input cards were as follows. Choice number 1, I support the changing of the name when the new K-8 school is built. There were 4 single votes for that. Choice number 2, I support changing the name for the 2019 and 2020 school year. There were 38 single votes for that. Choice number 3, I do not support the changing of the name at all. There were no votes for that. And finally, we did allow individuals to check both choice 1 and 2, and there were 18 votes in favor of doing something immediately, either choice 1 or choice 2. There were also two similar recommendations on the cards noted that adding the word of Claremont somewhere in the name so that it melded the two schools, the names together. On November 27th, Claremont Middle School Advisory Council unanimously passed the following recommendation based on all the information provided above. It is the recommendation of the SAC that we change the name of Claremont Middle School to the Aurelia M. Cole Academy upon the timeline of your choosing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We also have a card from the public from Alberta Tony Bell Resco. Okay, in support of this, so if you'd like to come forward, come in.
Good evening, Superintendent Cornegay and school board members. Aurelia Cole was the daughter of longtime educators Marie and William McKinney. And as a student, Aurelia McKinney graduated from the all-black Lincoln Park School, which is now Claremont Elementary School. After she earned a bachelor's degree at Tuskegee, she returned to the area and became an English teacher at the newly integrated Claremont High School in 1973. I was an English teacher there. I taught senior English, and she taught sophomore English. She was a wonderful colleague. After 18 years of teaching, she became the dean of Claremont High School, and then she became middle school, went to South Lake High School, opened in 1993. She became the dean of South Lake High School and later became the assistant principal of South Lake High School. From there, she became the principal of Mount Dora Middle School, followed by a stint as principal of Cecil Gray Middle School in Groveland. Then she returned to Claremont Middle School as its principal, followed by becoming the principal of East Ridge High School. Mrs. Cole was recognized as an outstanding educator and was called to the Lake County Schools Administration Office in Tavares to become the assistant superintendent. Mrs. Cole not only lived in a historic time, but she made history. She has the distinction of being the first black principal of an integrated school and assistant superintendent in Lake County. Her contributions to the schools and community have been wonderful. Her dedication to all students in her care has been outstanding. She leaves a legacy that will never be forgotten. And therefore, I propose that you rename Claremont Middle School, and eventually Claremont Elementary School will be there, and it will be all K-8, and it will be named after Aurelia McKinney Cole Academy. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
So in compliance with policy 8.54 that they referenced, they have brought to you their recommendation. The next step would be for me to find out if there are any more questions that you have, any more information that you would like gathered before a recommendation. This is a discussion item. Therefore, there is no recommendation on the item tonight. We'll take all of the information and bring to you a recommendation at our next meeting. giving you time to share with me any other questions or information that you would like me to bring to you before then.
Does it make any sense, can I just ask one question?
Absolutely.
That as we're going into this construction phase, would it make any sense for us to do future home of? Because we're going to be demoing the school, and rather than put the sign that would be appropriate, I'm sure it would be another sign added later. Does that make any sense at all, that posting a sign, future home, and then ultimately,
It does, and so in conversation with Mr. McHugh, and who I think has relayed this information, don't let me put words in your mouth, Mr. McHugh, that's why the recommendation would be at a time of our choosing, should we decide that, exactly as you're saying, that the school would be renamed, then it would be demolished, and then we would be erecting then, again, a new sign. So one consideration might be that we put a sign on the property currently where the school will be constructed that says future home of the Aurelia M. Cole Academy.
And the 1 year was just something that was thrown out there. I mean, I didn't get it. I didn't really make sense of why we would name it for a year's time period and then rename it back. I don't know that would be an option for even consideration.
Yeah, I was confused by that too. Was that the actual proposal?
The recommendation was that we rename the school at a time of the board's choosing.
but I thought the vote that was presented, that they wanted to do it immediately.
That was on and I don't know if you want to add any clarity to that. I know that was part of what they provided.
That's the
at
only reason I'm
public
even
hearing.
mentioning it.
But there was
Correct.
okay.
It sounded like it was for 1 year.
For 1 year. That's what I thought too. It said 38 people voted to change the name of the school for 1 year, and I'm
Or to 2019-20, I thought it was.
okay.
Beginning.
Okay, that's. Thank you for clarifying. I was like, that doesn't make sense at all.
At our meeting, something similar was brought.
Go ahead. No, you're fine.
She needs to go to the.
You may want to get.
Go to the mic.
You may want to go to the mic.
Okay.
Or he'll be coming
Something
out.
similar was brought up, and so that's why we allowed people to pick both option 1 and option 2, so that we could leave it to your choosing, but we don't want to rename it just for a year.
Okay,
We
got
want
it.
to be the name determined at whenever you deem appropriate, knowing that we are going into construction. But we would also respectfully ask that the community become aware of the name change as soon as possible. So if that means erecting a sign at your discretion, that is what we would very much like to do.
I would totally like to do that.
And thank you for clarifying.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Remind me of the time frame. The new school would open 2023. Is that right?
Mr. Carr, do you have that date in your head?
Okay, that's why you don't want to come to the mic.
I believe that is what it is.
I think that's the
currently
estimated
is
time, right?
projected on our timeline, yes.
That's
the
for
5-year
sales tax
plan.
dollars. Right.
Okay. All right, so that's our direction that we're pointing to, is to bring it back in January? And then we can move forward then at that time?
Works for me.
Yes.
Okay,
Great.
I'll have a recommendation for you at the next meeting.
all right. Thanks, Superintendent. All right, your report?
So this is our last meeting before the holidays. We do not have a workshop scheduled this month due to all the different holiday events and things that are happening. So I do want to propose our next board workshop on January the 7th, if you'll let me know of your availability for that particular date. We have some data and other things we'd like to bring back to you at that time. Also, I sent you a copy of our legislative priorities, revised draft from our representatives with Gray Robinson. I think they did a nice job capturing our conversation. If you have any changes to that before we finalize that and I bring it back to you, please let me know. And
My only point on that is that it's 2 pages. Like, I thought the revisions were good, but a 2-pager, like, if we can, I don't know, mess with margins or something.
okay, we can work on that. Or if there's anything you want to eliminate in the event that we can't, we can also move the headings up and things to try to get it onto one page. So if you want to just let me know, and then we'll bring this back at the next meeting as well. And I want to remind everyone that next week, Tuesday, December 18th, Wednesday, December 19th, and Thursday, December 20th are all early release days for students. And schools will use the Wednesday dismissal times for those 3 days of school. We'll be putting that out via social media and our other means of communication to ensure that everyone's aware of that. And Friday, December 21st is a non-student day, though our teachers will be working on that day. So we'll be notifying everyone of that as well. In the following week, starting on Monday, December 21st, begins our winter break, and the district offices will be closed through January 2nd. Classes will resume on January the 3rd. So enjoy the events. There's lots of them, so if you can check all the school calendars and find out what's happening in addition to what was mentioned in the video, and be involved because you have many opportunities over the next 2 weeks to do so. And I just want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday Season and a Happy New Year, since this is our final meeting before then.
All right. Letters of condolence.
Letters of condolence. We do have two this evening. We sent one letter to Jane DeRosier. She is the Executive Secretary for Region 3. Her mother passed away, so condolences to her and her family. Another letter was sent to Roy Carter Sr., the father of Deanne Wilson, retired program specialist in our curriculum department, so our sympathy to his family as well.
All right. Now we're at board member comments. Ms. Luke?
I wanted to highlight Friday night, the Umatilla Elementary School and Middle School and High School are getting together to do a Christmas concert. And the three young ladies that are head of the music departments at the elementary, middle, and high school students do a lot of collaborating together. And they are young and they are dynamic, and those programs are up and coming. And so if you're not busy and you want a great holiday concert at 7 o'clock at the First, it's not the First Baptist Church in Eustis anymore. I don't remember, Life Point Church in Eustis. You can join us there and see what they've got going on. I wanted to obviously say thank you to Mr. Teitler. I know that that was something that we all breathed a sigh of relief, and I agree with you, Chairman, that too often we don't give them the recognition that they deserve whenever they do prevent. A lot of times the only time they're brought to the media's attention is when it's negative. And so I commend you, Superintendent and Chairman, for bringing them in to be recognized for the safety and providing that for our students at Eustis. And I know several people have asked, and I went to Atlanta last week to go to the Ron Clark Academy, which was an amazing event. And so we're still processing that as even a university system and the school district system they are definitely two different beasts. And I realize that we don't have the levels of funding and we don't get to pick the 11 top teachers and take them to a school and have this amazing environment. But oh my gosh, I think I cried 6 times because of the education that I feel like my students need. And so there are definitely some lessons to be learned, and I look forward to the opportunity. Mrs. Weiskopf already said she'd love to talk, and so how we can kind of generate some of that positivity for our students and those expectations, because those kids were amazing. And it always helps when you go with colleagues. And I know that the colleagues that I go with are just like the teachers that we have here. And we would leave the PD and we'd go to lunch and we would talk about the PD. And then we were back at the hotel room and we're having dinner and we're talking about the PD and we're talking about our students and we're talking about implementation. So if anything, the excitement that generated for our students at UCF, which you guys know are all pre-service teachers, many of them end up in Lake County, hopefully it will bring some really high engagement strategies back here as well. So it was an amazing, refreshing experience for an educator that's been doing it for about 17, 18, 19 years now. So it was a really, really great experience. I look forward to sharing that with you guys. So Merry Christmas. Thank you very much for the goodies.
Mr. Dodd.
Yeah. I tell you, I think one of the biggest eye-opening experiences for me when I was elected to the school board was the number or variety of topics that we have to address or that we have to vote on, between business and support items, school items, human resource items. Nobody is an expert in all of those. Well, today, I'll tell you, I had a brand new experience as your representative to the Value Adjustment Board to determine the eligibility of folks to receive their agricultural exemption appeal. I think it probably is a testament to the great work done by Carrie Baker, because all the information outlined in fact versus what the statute says would entitle an agriculture exemption was there, which is fantastic for somebody like me who probably didn't know all that much about that coming into that experience. But I tell you, it was interesting to hear some of the stories. Speaking of stories, I think this is a commendation for the district that I like to offer there. I've really seen us do such a tremendous job in beginning to tell our story. when I was running for the school board 4 years ago, out on the campaign trail, oftentimes I'd hear the question, what's our most valuable asset? And I'd always respond instantly, well, it's our people, right? I mean, you really can't even put a price tag on the people that are operating this district and contributing to giving these kids a world-class education. In thinking about tonight and all of that coming together, we've come so far in terms of recognizing the heroics here tonight. I think was outstanding. That helped me reflect back on the district spotlights that we've been putting together that highlight our people and some of the great things going on throughout the district. And then furthermore, then we have the results of a public hearing to rename a school in honor of probably one of the educators who have left, or in honor of an educator who's left probably one of the most impactful legacies in Lake County. All that comes together, and I tell you that it truly is the people who make a great difference, and it's nice to see that story being told. I mean, as I was thinking about this renaming, I mean, it's nice to, sure, geography gives you a little bit of identification, but really it's the people behind that geography, right? I mean, to think about walking into a school named after Aurelia Cole, what an honor for those kids, and hopefully, as I was kind of thinking about this as we move forward with that too often I've stepped inside buildings that are named for people and you don't even know who they are or why they were named. So I'd like to see us do a real good job at presenting that story when you walk in, that you get a sense of who Aurelia Cole was for those who didn't have the opportunity to know her. So perhaps we can consider something along those lines as we move forward with this planning.
All right. Mr. Mathias?
It's so funny, Mark, that I was just sitting here thinking about the same thing as you were elucidating. My experience with Mrs. Cole was a little bit different in that 6 years ago when I first, as a rookie school board member, she was assigned, or I was assigned to her as my go-to. And she was one that would not mince words, that we would get aside behind closed doors and she'd tell me, like, you need to shut up or you're on the wrong track. And for that, I will ever be grateful, forever. And so you have no idea how proud I am that we are bestowing this honor on her, not just to her, but her family and also the legacy of Lake County Schools, because this is where her heart was. And we continue to serve because of her and so many like her. So that's kind of where my head is about that. To the Christmas trees. So all Christmas trees were sold, pretty amazing. And I think there's some 13 that are actually going to gift back, that want those to push forward to families that don't have trees. And so working with them all, we'll be organizing that over the next few days so they get there hopefully before Christmas, because there's a little rush now as we move forward. And then my last thought is about our safety and security. And tonight we celebrated the stopping of what could have been a completely different story in one of our schools. And we celebrated a young lady who stood up and reported an incident and stopped this person from stealing from others. And that we have a lot of work to do, but we rejoice in the fact that our safety and security program is working. I sleep better at night knowing that our kids are protected as well as they can be. And we've done everything we can do. And I look over and see Mr. Palmer, who's new with us with our security, and Mr. Carr. So thank you guys. And Jimmer, I don't know if he's still here. Did he leave?
He did. He had another obligation.
Okay. But pass on how grateful I am to the hard work that you guys are doing every day. That's it.
Thank you.
Dr. Burns?
I wanted to send out a thank you to Lowe's of Leesburg for funding the bookshelves for our first grade classrooms at Leesburg Elementary School. That's a huge thing. I mean, we want our children reading, and so now through the generous donations of the community, we have the ability to have 100 new books in every classroom and bookshelves to put them on, and that's a big deal. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. And we also had a chance, all of us had a chance to go to the Daily Commercial and meet 3 of our county's top writers who wrote excellent essays, which will be premiered very soon in the I don't know the exact date, in the Daily Commercial.
Okay, he doesn't.
It's like a couple of days preceding their trip.
Yeah.
And their trip is in February sometime?
Yeah.
So in February.
So that was a real pleasure because it's always a pleasure to meet such bright and intelligent and dynamic students.
What your topic was.
The topic of ethics. Yes, they all felt that public servants should be held to a higher standard of ethics, and I would love to live in that world. So with that said, I know Hanukkah just ended, so happy Hanukkah to anyone who celebrates that. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas.
All right. I just want to echo what Mr. Dodds and Mr. Mathias talked about with Ms. Cole. First time I met her, I was working in maintenance, and she was the principal at Groveland Middle School, at Grave Middle. And she was always a professional, real nice and courteous. She treated you with respect. No matter what position you held in the county, as far as she was concerned, you do the respect that you need to be given, and I appreciated that. And I was just thinking about what they were talking about before Mr. Dodds made his comment. I'm like, we need to do something there that tells the story. You know, it's one thing to say, you know, and the other thing I think is congratulations to the family, to the children, the grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, that they would be able to go to that school and say, that was my mother, or that was my grandmother, or that was my great-grandmother. She's the one that started this program, did this. She was the first one to do this, you know, and I think that's great. But like I said, there needs to be able to be a story that's told that lets people know what she stood up for and what she achieved, because sometimes that's left out. So, and I think we can handle that as well. I know Mr. Dodds will be on top of that. But also, our safety of our schools, I do appreciate all of our safety resource deputies, school resource deputies, all of our guardians that we have, all of our administration that we have that's there on the campuses that are helping to protect our students. I appreciate that, and that you step out and are willing to put yourself out there to protect the student there in your possession at that time. And also the young girl, as Mr. Mathias talked about, that, you know, was willing to step out and say, hey, I've got proof of this guy here doing this, and willing to do it. And that was great. Also, I just want to say, last Monday night, as Dr. Burns related to, the essay winners was there, and I left there and went directly to Tavares High School, and I got to hear the Tavares High School band and the chorus with their Christmas concert. I got the last half hour, and it was great, even with what I got to hear. But what was most amazing, it was standing room only, and then it was hard to stand because it was shoulder to shoulder. But it was wonderful what these young children, young adults did at Tavares High School in their presentation. I appreciate the band director and the course director for their outstanding dedication. Also, I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. This is our last meeting before the year is up. And I just want to say also thank you for 2018 for the dedication to our staff all across our Lake County school system. Thank you very much. We're dismissed.